works, grab that, and done.
Okay, here we go. Three, two, one. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the show. I'm talking to an amazingly amazing friend, makeup artist, and some other things that you're probably going to discover about my friend Alex Lucas. Hey Alex, thanks for
Hey,
being
brother, how
here.
are you today?
I'm great. You look amazing. I was just telling you before we got started. Yeah, pink
Well,
is my
thank you.
favorite color.
Thank you so much. And you know what? I thought it was might be your favorite color. And
So
it
you
looks like
you
you
did
have
it
on one
right.
of mine too, though.
A little orange.
What you,
It's
yeah, you got a little bit of orange going on, but for me, all I see is black and gold. I don't know why, but it just is what I see.
all right now. All right. So let's talk about, one of the things that I have known about you long term is that you have always been instrumental in beating beautiful faces. Tell
Thank
me how
you.
you walked into doing makeup, because right now you're doing makeup for the legendary one and only Tony Braxton, right?
Correct. That is very, very correct. This is our second time at the dance, and I love every single minute of it. I'll say that what really got me into the makeup world is that I'm a fine artist first. So, coming from a family of artists, my grandfather was an artist, my dad an artist, and I'm the youngest of seven, and all of us to some degree have some artistic ability with painting, drawing, or something in that genre. So it really came second nature for me once I did make the choice, decide I wanted to do makeup.
And so, in doing so, because I know we were just a little cue for all of you, I'm going to give you like a little cheat sheet. Alex and I saw each other again at Tawanda Braxton's wedding, and we reconnected. And one of the things that Alex mentioned was that he wanted to be a meteorologist, a weatherman back in the day. Talk a little bit about that, and how do you go from wanting to do meteorology to doing makeup?
Well, believe it or not, it was the easiest transformation for me. I graduated from West Georgia, University of West Georgia now, and with a degree in communications. And less than a month out, I got my very first audition to be a weather person in Macon, Georgia, at WMGT Channel 41 in Macon. And the audition went well. I got the position, and I worked in the television weather world for about almost 5 years, going from Macon, Albany to Brunswick, Georgia. So I had never seen a black man or a black person really doing weather, and especially
Mhm.
in my city. And so I was like, that was my goal. I'm like, that seems like fun. I think that'll be a good transition for me. So I had to do my own makeup for doing the weather. So that's where the idea was kind of planted. In my
Mhm.
artwork, I did a lot of portraits and a lot of beautiful women, like from Fashion Fair back in the day, Essence, those covers. I was doing them, so I was studying the makeup at the same time. So when it did come time for me to make a transition out of weather, it was almost like a no-brainer. It's like, try it. Why not? You can do it. You like color.
Mhm. So when it comes to, but why did you leave? Because if you stuck to it for 5 years, let me get my mouth to work. If you stuck to it for 5 years, what made you decide that I don't want to do this anymore and I'm transitioning into a whole new career?
Well, I'll say the choice I felt was made for me.
Ah.
That's the honest answer. I hit the ceiling because being having the degree in communications, I didn't have a meteorology degree, and at that time, I mean, I was fresh out of college. I mean,
Mhm.
I had one job before I had the job as I take it back, had two jobs before I had my anchor job as a weather person, and I just knew that going back to school was just not the option for me.
Hmm. So you didn't want to transition into maybe being a reporter or maybe being
No.
an anchor, a news anchor? No, not at all.
No, not at all, not at all. And I felt that my skill set was much better suited for quick banter, things that were coming off the cuff, things that
Hmm.
weren't scripted. I even hosted. I sat in as a host for. We had a noon show in Brunswick, and I sat in for a week and did that. And it's just a different level of reporting. I'll say when you're
It
doing
is.
weather than doing actual reporting, for news stories, as you know.
Hmm.
And I just felt like it was probably just better for me to have the opportunity also to live my truth and to live freely.
Hmm. So let's talk about makeup then, because one of the I like makeup. When I was younger, I think I loved makeup a little bit too much because I was just like colors and as I've aged, I do realize less is more. What do you love about the work that you do, transforming faces?
I think that that's it pretty much in a nutshell. I love that transformation. I love making people feel confident about themselves. And if it's just a little mascara, lipstick, foundation, and that's all it takes for somebody else to be able to rise to their best self, then I feel like I've done my job. So for me, getting those little opportunities to step into somebody's life and to say, you know what, I gave you something that made you go out and let the world see you in your best light. That's the biggest thing for me.
What are the biggest mistakes that you notice that most women make across the board, black, white, whatever, when it comes to applying makeup?
I think that back to the adage that you talked about earlier, less is more. I think that people try too hard. I don't really think that there's any occasion that you need to um, maybe transform into very, very heavy makeup. I think that it really makes most people look older. And when I see these young, like Instagram girls that really were caking and contouring and doing all this stuff, I don't really even see it so much now as I did maybe about 5, 10 years ago. But I think that people just knowing that the simplicity, people want to see you. They don't really want to see the makeup.
Mhm.
If it's pretty, that's great. But at the end of the day, it should really focus on the actual person and not the makeup. And so that's been kind of like my stance like the whole time.
What's the quick thing that women can do? Because I know for me, I absolutely, if I'm going to, like even in my house, I gotta have me a lash.
Yeah.
I gotta have me a little lip.
Right,
And
right.
I don't have to always have to have like full like foundation, but just enough just to kind of even things out, and then I'm out the door. Would you agree with that, or what do you say that the simple steps are if you want to put a little something on, but still kind of look done, but not too done?
True that. I think that the key is if you've already got naturally beautiful skin, I think that more than half of the game is already won. Um, Throwing on the lash, if you're able to throw on the lash, hey, I salute you. I mean, all praises to you if you can put it on yourself, because I know that it can be one of the most difficult things. I say, as a makeup artist, it was the hardest thing for me to learn how to do was to put on lashes and mascara on someone.
Ah,
Oh my God, that was hard. But
why?
oh my, it's something about when you're dealing with someone and you're right in their eye, it's just a whole different ball game. And getting those lashes to stay on
Hmm.
it's another beast too. But I'll say this, that's the beast of just knowing the right products to use and you won't have a problem. But to go back and kind of like circle back to answer the question, which I try to remember what it is now.
The
Um,
question was the simple things that you can do to look like you're pulled together, but not too much.
Lips, lipstick, eyeliner, and a nice combed brow is really enough,
Ah.
for most occasions. And I will say that you can take the lipstick and you can also just do a little tap on the cheek and create a little bit of a blush color.
Hmm.
But a woman's personality, DeQuetta, is her lip color, and
Hmm.
it says everything about her. So I tell this to clients all the time. I'll say, "What is the lip that you want for today?" I say, because we can really start there. It tells the entire story. I could put you in an eyeshadow color that you didn't like, and you'd wear it all day. But as soon as I put you in a lip color that you don't like, you will change it. You will not feel comfortable. So if we can get this comfortability level first,
Hmm.
everything else just seems to kind of flow in balance. And just those few simple things, I think, are enough for most women to kind of like, hey, I look like something, I feel like something, and this is enough for the day.
I love me a red lip. Let me tell you something. If nothing else I can do, if I don't
Yeah.
get the lash on, if I need to just run out, I just love what red lipstick, whether it be like that cherry red or fire
Mhm.
engine red, does to just my face alone. It always makes me feel pulled together and it makes me feel empowered. I will also add this. Sometimes when and I'm telling a secret, but sometimes when I really don't feel as strong as I want to feel,
Mhm. Mhm.
oddly enough, I love a deep purple. It makes
Wow.
me feel like, because most people aren't going to wear a purple lipstick,
Mhm. True.
but I
True.
can pull one off,
Yeah.
and that's one of my fun colors as well. What are the mistakes that you find people making?
I find the biggest mistake back a few years back, it was the eyebrow shape.
Ah.
And it's the one thing that I'll say that to this day it will bend me to a lean. You're like, what? 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 You doing this for real? Uh, and what it is that they will start the brow too sharp, and it gets me every time. If I see this blocked off, I instantly am like, baby, come here. Let me
Let me help you.
let me help
Uh-huh.
you. Let me help you. Uncle got you. Uncle got you. But yeah, that's that has got to be for me the biggest mistake, and I'm seeing less of it
Mhm.
now because at one time we had this thing called an Atlanta brow. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but they were doing concealer all under, concealer all above, and they would block here.
Oh yeah, uh-huh. I remember. Uh-huh.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Wore you
Just
out,
the
huh?
memories alone are just earth shaking, shaking. I might need a butterscotch on that one. With a little white diamond sprayed on the paper. You know what I'm saying? Give me some grandma comfort.
Oh my goodness, you're the best. Is there ever a time when you're like, oh, I'm so tired of doing makeup. I'm sorry. I don't want to look at another color. I don't want to look at another face. I need a break from it.
You know what? I think that everybody faces that road at some point, in whatever your career is. There's always that one day, but I have to say that I wake up every day that I know that I have to do makeup, and it really just excites me. And I'm happy about working um, because there's nothing like being able to be creative to me.
Hmm.
And when you have the opportunity to interact with someone, and again, to just create a better day for them. You kind of
Hmm.
take it off of yourself. It just makes it a very good experience. It also made it a great career choice for me because I mean I can have those long days. I did a lot of New York Fashion Week, and I work television and film, and the days can be extremely long. And it's not that you don't get tired of maybe doing the same exact makeup, because when you work on a television show, continuity is whatever this
Yes.
person looked like, they need to look like this that very same time, even if you shoot 5 days later. So
Hmm.
you're having to pay attention to that. And sometimes the rigmarole of just doing the same thing becomes mundane. But when you realize that you have this freedom, an
Hmm.
underlying freedom, that what, I could be doing so many other things
Hmm.
um, that maybe wouldn't be as happy or as profitable. Then for me, I turn that dial right back to, baby, you happy, and
Hmm.
you doing what you love to do, and you're being who you love to be.
Yeah. How do you deal with difficult clients? Because I'm sure you probably have had some. I'm not going to tell you to say any names, but
Yeah,
how do
yeah.
you manage having, whether it be on a movie set, TV set, doing makeup for a wedding, whatever? How do you handle all that?
I said the best thing that I have learned is to listen.
Hmm.
Just really just listen, because people sometimes they're acting out because they want to be heard. So what I'll do is I will get a little more quiet. I'll do if the conversation is such that it is an open end question or something that I may be able to. Oh, so how do you feel about that? Then that's what I'll just try to take the whole mood down, because it does happen. It happens much more frequently than you think, that you have a
Hmm.
client, that may be a little particular.
Hmm.
Um, or they may just be having a rough day. And at that
Hmm.
point, for me, it's about, okay, so what are the steps that I need to do to make this quicker too for them? So that
Right.
maybe they don't want the interaction. And you really just have to kind of feel people out. So I have to say, I've got this discerning spirit, and I'm able to just kind of be like, okay, you can be a little bit quiet while you're doing this one, but otherwise, I keep things very light and bubbly. That's why I like when
Hmm.
I do weddings. People love it when I do their wedding because I'm like, no, 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 nothing negative. This is about you today, and let's keep this calm. Let's keep it. I'm smiling, and I make sure to keep it really, really light and fun.
Yes.
And I think that's probably part of the reason why, like a lot of people do like. I have a lot of return clients. Most of my clients,
Mhm.
they don't go. If they do stray away, it's something happened. They had to do what they had to do, but. For the most part, people like the fact that I will interact with them and again keep it lighthearted. So those difficult clients do come, and like I said, they come much more often than you think.
When you look at people who are on social media or young people who believe that they can have a career in
Mhm.
doing makeup for film, television, I do realize that that is not an easy field to just break into and then have a full sustainability financially. What advice, what thoughts do you have to people who may be watching and thinking they want to do this, not knowing what the steps are and how difficult it may be?
There are a lot of them, and I'll say that with great reward comes great sacrifice, comes great prices to pay. Makeup is not inexpensive. So there's building the kit so that you can get out here to work. First of all, people don't think about that. Secondly, um, it is a very who you know industry. Being a very good makeup artist is important, but I have seen so many people who are doing well who are adequate makeup artists at best. Um, so I recommend that anyone who thinks of coming into the field of makeup, be it on whatever level, wedding makeup artist, television and film makeup artist, that you get a very good sound foundation. And I found that working retail was what did it for me. And
Mm,
part of the reason is that you get to see so many different people, you get to work with so many different products that you don't have to buy, that you get to learn products, you get to learn people, you get to learn races, ages, and personalities at the same time. So I say for any makeup artist that I know that I kind of look up to, most of us started in the retail business because I mean you get your feet wet, you learn what it is to have sanitation or to do things so that it is very sanitary. And I find that makeup artists who don't work at counter are typically the nastiest.
mhm.
Like they don't get it. You gotta wash your hands. These utensils have to be clean. You can't drop it, pick it up on the floor and say, "Oh, I'm going to 5 second rule." No, you
Mm-mm.
can't do it. It just you cannot do it. And I've had the opportunities to work with artists and see them working fast and doing it that way, and it's very very cringe worthy. And again, it makes you want to tilt that head and say, "Really? Oh, okay, all right, right."
Where would you want to retire? Do you want to retire from doing makeup, or is there something else that you want to do that you haven't done?
Oh my God, that's a great question. That is a great question. I I really love doing makeup. I mean, I just love it. And I had the opportunity. Someone said, "So you might have to pivot because the industry got really, really salty over the last 2 years." I can
Yeah.
I can honestly say that it with the strikes and all of the we're still not back up to speed in the television and film industry. Another subject, but I want to retire, I feel, in the makeup arena because I love it so. And I just don't really see doing much more than this. If
Mhm.
my artwork were to take off, that would be great. But the makeup thing is really what I love. I mean, like I wake up in the morning like, "Whew, what we gonna do today? What we gonna do
Right.
today?" Now
That's
I get
great.
to use this lip color today, or I get to make this beautiful makeup, and I love seeing my makeup too. I love seeing it on film in a magazine. So I think that that's the retirement part for me is
Let's,
kind of picking it out.
since you mentioned that, let's talk about that because I know based on a number of people who I've talked to who are in your industry when COVID hit and how that really shut
Hmm.
down
Hmm.
so many things. And then there was a resurgence. And then you want to talk about the strikes. And as you mentioned, yeah, things are still not quite like they used to be as far as the rapidness of work and being able to move from project to project. What did you learn when it was difficult to, I'm sure, no matter how much work you do or had, some of it had to be slowed down. So how did you manage that, rebrand, or sit on your hands when you kind of had to wait?
Oh my God. When I tell you it was a very difficult thing. I've been blessed because I have always worked. I'll say that. I haven't like I never had a vacation up until maybe 2000, wait a minute, maybe 2018. I
Oh wow.
never had a vacation. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So it's like because you've got to strike while the iron is hot. So
Yes.
it's been pretty hot. So during COVID, what I learned was that it's okay to just be okay. That there was a bigger picture that we needed to kind of like take care of self and kind of um, figure out what was going to happen with the world and, would we be back to work like we were? During COVID, I think I was only out of work to quite a maybe few months.
Hmm.
So when things started to pick back up, I was able to, find some work, we wear the mask and, we're out there and work. And I became quite successful afterwards. Like I had a six-figure year.
Oh wow.
Um, just
That's a blessing.
whew,
Because here's the
incredible.
thing, a lot of people can't say that. I have a number of friends who struggled and who are still in some way struggling, trying to, get that momentum
Mhm.
going again. So I know that you're blessed.
Well, so let me say this. I had the six-figure year after the hardest part of COVID. Okay.
Hmm.
Then with the strikes, I went down to, and I mean, just being transparent here,
Of
I
course.
went down to less than $50,000,
Oh wow.
less than,
Less
and that's
than.
for 2 years. So I'm
Hmm.
just starting to come out of it. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it has been a humbling experience. It has been an opportunity to say, you know what is my purpose really? And
Hmm.
why is this happening? And how do I best kind of take these reins and maybe get a little bit more control in my life? And I have
Hmm.
to say, it was a lot of prayer, a lot of excuse me, relying on the people who are my real friends and just helping to talk you off of the ledge.
Absolutely.
I live on the first floor, but it was going to be a short ledge, you know what I'm saying?
Oh
But
yeah.
it was a ledge nonetheless. And getting through it, I mean, I'm really, in all honesty, I'm just seeing the light like within
Hmm.
the last 2 months.
Hmm.
So it's been a really really rough 2 years, and I know that my sentiments speak to most of my industry. I still know a lot of people who are not working, and I
Hmm.
say that I with me doing Tony, um, I love doing these personals, but getting back into working series or working on a film, it is a goal. But I will
Hmm.
say this: if I just do personals from this part out of my life, God be the glory. I'll take it. I'll take it. But I know that it's
Wonderful.
really a struggle for so many of us trying to. And again, it's who you know, but the projects aren't here. I think we're only up to about maybe 30% of capacity that we
Hmm.
were at the top of the game.
Hmm.
And realistically, I don't know if it's coming back the way that we thought it was. I don't even see it coming back that way.
Absolutely. A few more questions, then I'll let you get
Sure.
out of here. What made you decide to stay here in Atlanta rather than, let's say, a New York or a California? What makes you want to stay here?
Well, being close to home first. I'm from Macon, Georgia originally, so I wanted to stay, kind of close to the family. But I felt like those areas had already been saturated, New York and
Hmm.
LA. And I never forget, when my mother was alive, she was like, "I see you in LA. I see you in LA." What she saw me was she saw me working in LA. She didn't see me living in LA. Now that's
Hmm.
that's my take on it.
Uh-huh.
Um, I felt like Atlanta was a budding city and fresh and new, and that the opportunities were really growing here. We were getting more work than LA was getting, so it didn't really make any sense of trying to go and just start this. getting to this old world
Hmm.
of chasing who you know.
Hmm.
I know people in Atlanta, and Atlanta knows me. So it was really just the best fit. And I want to say this: for me, Atlanta is the blackest place I have ever been, where I see black excellence, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Hmm. I absolutely get it. One other question for you, Alex. What do you love about being Black?
Um, Let me tell you, it's so much. It is so much that I love about being black. I love having this melanated skin. I love this creativity that I get to have with my own hair. I love the fact that there is something about our culture that so many people want a piece of, and that they mimic when I'm living it. You know what I mean? It's there. There is nothing to me more genuine than running across black people coming in touch with other black people, and the way that we move with each other in love.
Hmm.
There is nothing like it. So I love being black, and I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm just so thankful that the man upstairs knew. You know what? Let me give this melanated one right here. Let me give him these opportunities that
Yes.
that he can thrive with. And like I said, this and the freedom just to be. I feel like we get that on a level that other cultures just they may have it. They may have it. Let me say that they
Hmm.
may have it, but the way that we show up as a black community and thrive
Hmm.
despite of what's thrown at us,
Hmm.
it's a great thing to be black.
It is. It certainly is. I love your answer. Okay, and this is the final question. How do you manage love, career?
Ooh, who you been talking to? You been talking to somebody, had
No.
you know what? It is it's a tough thing. Um, it's a very tough thing, and I say finding the right mix of someone who can understand what you do and who you're around, and the fact that they're not moved by it is
Hmm.
the great thing. But you also don't want them to be so divorced from it that it's like, oh, well, you're not really doing nothing. You don't
Hmm.
want that either. But I can say the biggest thing for me is just having people around me, people who love me, who understand that when I'm at work, I'm at work.
Hmm.
And I separate the two because I don't really get an opportunity to like bring my love life to work. Now we always have like no personal conversations, but they won't meet who the significant other is. And I find that having a career that you do deal with high profile people,
Hmm.
you have to deal with somebody who has a confidence that they're like, hey, no, 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 go ahead, go to work, go do your thing. I know what you're doing, I know what you got going on, and I can sit back and just enjoy the benefits of
Hmm.
you being able to be happy and live a free life, and bring home money and love.
Hmm.
Just bring it back home. So to me, it goes back to loving what you do,
Hmm.
um, using your career to move forward because you love what you do, and keeping that person that loves you, or those people that love you, that understand that this is a job.
Hmm. And being able to sift through making sure that people are not enamored by you because of what you do, because of who you're around,
Right.
and the places in which you're able to go. You really have to have a keen eye and being
Fair.
able to tell like who's a groupie person, who's
Hmm.
somebody who wants to be able to say, oh, I dated, and not really want to be with you, me, whatever,
Yeah.
and really be focused on I want a relationship build. Because one thing I will say I've learned about this 2025 and long before that, it
Right.
is very difficult finding people who are authentic,
Yes.
who really understand what friendship and love mean,
Hmm.
and not be distracted by all of the accoutrements that they see
Hmm.
around them.
Hmm. It
you
is.
know.
It is. And I'll say that I have suitors, and I do just that. I sift through the process because all you got to do really, you say one thing, like drop a name and see how they react, or if you have an event to do and see how they react, it'll show you who to cut off and who not to. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And it
Absolutely.
doesn't take long, I don't
Doesn't
think.
take long, especially if you're paying attention and you're listening and you're watching.
Correct, correct. And
Yeah.
I think that for people like you and me who work in an industry where you just we deal with so many people, it's
Hmm.
easy to run across someone who doesn't have their confidence up. And yeah, you got to read it quick. Read the room. Read the room.
Hmm. Alex, thank you so much for this. I appreciate our conversation and your time. Is there anything else you want to add that I didn't ask you that you'd like to say?
No, I would like to say this. If you have a dream to be a makeup artist, then don't let me or don't let anyone else, stop you from doing what you want to do. Just know that there will be work ahead, and be willing to put that work in and have a good work ethic. Come to work
Hmm.
on time.
Yes.
I show up, and people know me because, like, I'm going to have on a hat, I'm going to have on a blazer, and it's easy for me because it is work. And I feel that when I dress up, that I am presenting myself like, you need to treat me like the professional that I am. And
Hmm.
maybe that will shine on someone else, so that they will start to take a little bit better care of what they look like, because this this is a world that people are judging you all the time on what you do and what you
Absolutely.
bring to the table. And I say, so bring the right thing to the table in the beginning, and don't let anyone stop you from your dream. Be a
And so,
professional though.
and sometimes you only get one chance too. And if you mess up that one chance, they'll never call you back. But if you do well, they'll keep calling you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And
Alex, thank
I
you.
want to thank you for having me today.
Oh
And
no.
my pleasure.
I would like to have you back too, because I just love your energy and I love our conversation. So you'll see Alex again. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank
Until
you so
next
much.
time, you're
Mwah,
welcome.
mwah,
Bye,
mwah.
y'all.
Love you, baby. Talk to you
Love
soon.
you too.